Hey friends, I'm just getting some yarn sorted for another knitting project I'm doing now. The hand warmers are actually done. I just need to stitch in the loose bits, but let's see if I wrapped it all around, but I'll show you. It's getting them ready for transportation or something. What have I done? Okay. So yeah, I like the way they turned out. That's the one on the right, and this is the left one. And so what I need to do is stitch up and tie in some loose ends. I did make one mistake when making it, and it's at here on the left one. You can see it's kind of raised at the top. There's this pattern, and on the right one it's not, because I made a mistake. There they are. I think they're really cute and comfortable. I love the color. I love this yarn. It's good. So that was that. So on to the next one. I don't know if you can tell, but I finished my schooling for the term, so I've just been knitting. And it's been great. So I'm going to be making a cowl neck warmer from this yarn, but this is the problem, is that it's in this gigantic skein that isn't in a ball, and I'm taking the train, so I kind of need it to be transportable. So I'm rolling it into a ball, and that's what you get to watch right now while I talk. If you can see that whole thing. So I'm taking the train home, well actually to visit the city I used to live, to visit friends and some family for a few days. Tomorrow, or today, I'm going there tonight, and then I will be going to my parents for the holidays 5 days from now. And yeah, it's so crazy how quickly the term went by. I kind of can't believe it. Like, I thought that I would have more time to just chill out here before heading back and settling in, but my oh my, when you're knitting, the time goes by quickly. So, yeah, and I've been filling up my time here even the last few days with seeing friends, running errands, baking, cleaning, laundry, all of that fun stuff. Even practicing. I finished a term paper just, I guess, 2 days ago. I submitted it, so I've had 2 days off, but yeah, I'm doing lots of fun stuff. I feel like, what other sort of things can I tell you? I know that I just haven't vlogged in a long time, really. Well, I guess, like, over the last couple of years, I've slowly been transitioning to eating a completely plant-based diet. So that's something we can talk about, and Some of you might be like, well, what is that? And it's kind of a new fancy way of saying, I guess, kind of vegan. Because I guess it was like 2.5 years ago, I decided to stop eating, or just to really cut back on dairy, because I had such terrible seasonal allergies that were really affecting my life, and I just had so many other health problems that I wanted to fix. And I just kind of saw online that dairy can really help in mucus production, and that was something that was really bothering me constantly, all day, all year. And so I stopped initially just putting milk in my tea, and stopped drinking milk in my cereal as well for breakfast. And it was really good, but I still ate cheese and butter baked into things. I didn't really think about that very much. But then eventually I started to notice that whenever I did have something with dairy in it, it might have been all in my head, but I would suddenly get a really itchy palate and throat, and then kind of sneezy, sniffly. And who knows, it might be totally in my head, but I saw a huge improvement in other aspects of my health, like my energy levels and my skin. It helped regulate some hormone problems that I had in my skin. Because I guess dairy, it really does have a lot of sort of synthetic hormones, and it can really affect women especially. And the more I read about it, the more I'm so glad now. Like, I officially 100% cut out all dairy, including goat's milk cheese, which I, for some reason, was like, oh, it's fine, about just 1 year ago. Like, no exceptions. I just would really, really rather not have dairy in my life at all. So that was the first thing. And then, a long time ago, I think it might have been before the dairy thing, or maybe it was the same year, I have always been conscious about where my meat comes from, and I always tried to buy like local and organic meat. So chicken mostly, because I didn't really eat that much beef and pork. Sometimes on the budget of a student or an artist, which I was, it was difficult to do that, to afford that kind of meat, because it's very expensive once you get local. But the stuff that's made in the factories is just, that always has totally turned my stomach, and that industry is so terrible for the environment. So eventually I just decided I had a roast once that I had bought from a local butcher, and it was like a special occasion because we barely ever ate roast beef, but I was really ill that night, and it was just not worth it. I decided I do not ever want to eat beef again. I don't want to eat meat that comes from a cow, or dairy that comes from a cow, because I like cows and I like our earth. So that's why I decided to stop. Just, done. No more. Thank you very much. I never even really liked it. And then from there, I didn't want to eat pork anymore, because same thing, just I didn't like the meat. It was always, the chances of becoming ill from that meat are very high, and the industry is awful, and I have compassion for the animals and for the environment. When I was living with my ex-partner, he would still eat these things occasionally, not all the time, and that was okay. Like, he would buy sausages and make them for himself. But that was about the extent of his pork consumption. And then, so I was still eating chicken and fish, and more fish. I think I had really stopped eating the land animal products, and didn't eat like a ton of fish, but when I did have meat, it would be fish. Or chicken when I worked at a cafe that had it there prepared already. But I decided to stop eating that because of environmental and health reasons, and I'm so, so glad that I did. I stopped eating chicken about 8 months ago, and then would occasionally have fish. And then the last time I had fish was in, what was it? I think it was in May or in June. Like half a year ago. And yeah, like I don't have a rule about fish because maybe if I did feel like it, I would have it, but I haven't really felt like it, and since I stopped. So I don't know. I don't have rules necessarily. I just go by how I feel, and that's how I'm feeling right now. I still ate eggs. I used to eat a lot of eggs, but I slowed down my consumption of them significantly in the summer. I just didn't really want them anymore, and they were heavy, and they made me feel kind of icky. Which was, I think is that weird that that's the last thing that I stopped with eggs. And you know what? Now I'm not totally off eggs because they are baked into things sometimes that I eat, but I do not go out and buy eggs. And I haven't had one like just on its own in forever, but I do love bagels, and I know that they're made with eggs, and I have them like occasionally. And that doesn't really bother me. So yeah, that's where I'm at with my health. So I guess I could tell you a little bit about how I feel now. And I must tell you, I feel incredible. I eat so much fruit in the mornings, and I feel like I can eat whenever I want, and I can eat a lot because I do train endurance sports. And I've had so many weird issues with food in the past, and I don't want to say eating disorders because I was not that. I don't know. It could be more serious than I had it. I just had a lot of body image issues, and then problems with eating food, like just a bad relationship, I guess, with food and with myself, where I just felt like I had to restrict, or I would feel guilt about eating something. And now I don't, because I know that everything that I'm eating is good, and is good for me, and it's good for the earth, and makes me happy, and makes everyone else happy too. Yeah, I'd love to share more some recipes and things that I've been eating. Not very complicated. I don't make super fancy things that are super gourmet because I do try and keep. Well, I guess if you were to, I eat like a high carbohydrate, low fat, low protein vegan diet, more or less. Where I have a lot of fruit in the morning, and then sometimes oats because it's cold, or toast or something like that, but there's always fruit, and more often than not there's blueberries in there because I love blueberries for breakfast. A lot of them. And lunchtimes I'll have like another big kind of fruit salad-y thing, or some soup, some vegetable pureed soup that's heartier, like meat and potatoes or carrots or something like that, and a lot of rice and occasionally quinoa. I eat a lot of greens, and when I eat a salad, it's enormous. And my friends at school, I often pack my lunch, they always are in disbelief of how large salads that I bring and that I eat them all. Because when it's just greens, it's mostly water, and you need a lot of it to get any sort of nutrition out of it. Dinners, I love veggie things like sauteed vegetables or roasted vegetables or steamed, or more leftover soups, and sometimes I have pasta. Snacks, I do eat a lot of like energy bar kind of things, but ones that are lower in fat. So I make my own kind of granola-y type Cliff Bars, and then I also love Cliff Bars, and I eat a lot of those. And baked goods, so that's something that's a little bit more of my addiction. It's vegan baked goods. I could just live off of those sometimes, which is maybe not the healthiest, but it's okay. I do eat, people ask me this a lot, and I do eat gluten because I have no problem with it. I don't eat it like a ton of bread at every meal, but maybe once or twice a week. I don't know, I don't eat bread every day. I did have half a bagel this morning, so that would count, with a banana and strawberries and some homemade granola that I made. Usually I make a green smoothie, but I didn't have any greens, so no green smoothie. Yeah, so that's how that's been working out for me. I've had loads of energy from when I wake up until I go to bed. I don't feel the need for a nap ever. I don't often need to crash. I work out like endurance sports, like cardio, I guess, for about 5 hours a week. And I always have the energy for it. Like I can go for an hour and a half running or swimming or biking. I also have the mental capacity to focus really well at school. And then also maintain a healthy social life. And have clarity and feel happy and not get that hangry anxiety that I used to. And for me, it's life-changing. So it's a combination of how I changed the way I perceive myself and the world and what I'm eating, and then what I'm doing, how I'm moving my body, and how I see myself. I think that's the biggest thing. How do you see yourself? Are you the star of your own life? And if so, how are you treating yourself? And is it fair? And you can apply any sort of meaning to that you like. But once you're kind of in tune with yourself and you know your needs, you'd be surprised at how nice you are to yourself. And whether you're very religious or not, you might know that that's so important, is that you must respect yourself or your spirit, or however you want to think about it. There were some days earlier this term, a couple months ago, where, life threw some crazy curveballs at me. And had I not been kind of in a good place, it would have been much more difficult to handle them. And handle those life things and then still continue to perform at a very high level and not let them kind of totally rock my boat. The same goes with illness. So there were a few times where I definitely knew that I had caught whatever kind of cold bug that was going around, and some people were just completely so sick they had to just stay in bed for a few days. And me, I had the symptoms, but I still had my full energy, so I could go about my day completely normally. But I just had maybe I'd have a headache for a little bit, or like a really stuffy nose or a sore throat. But I was not bedridden, and I never had to miss anything. So that was kind of cool. This never happens. Usually when I get sick, I am just totally bonked out. No, I think it's all the vitamin C and vitamin A I get from all the fruits and vegetables. I eat a lot of them. Yeah. So if you are ever thinking, if you wanted to eat a plant-based lifestyle, you don't need to go out and buy a lot of stuff. You don't need to buy products that say vegan on them. In fact, you should not buy anything that's prepackaged. You should be making everything from fresh ingredients. So shop in the produce aisles, and that should be pretty much all of your groceries. You should be getting lots of fruit. I buy about a big bag of apples and a big bag of oranges every week, and a couple of cucumbers, and that's how I make my favorite lunch salad, which is 2 apples chopped up, 2 big navel oranges chopped up, and a cucumber chopped up. And I'll actually probably have a pear and an apple along with that. And maybe even often some dried fruit as well. So my favorite dried fruits are dried figs, There's a really good kind from Costco that I like. And dates, Majula dates, they're so yummy. And I really love dried cherries. And dried mulberries, which are a little bit more expensive. They are just so tasty. They're like candy. So I'll have those for my lunches. And other produce I buy constantly. Big thing of baby spinach that I have in my morning smoothies. I'll often buy a cruciferous green, so broccoli, kale, and some other ones, collard greens, but I haven't had them in a while. Things like that kind of green. Carrots, I eat a lot of carrots. And beets. Another one of my favorite salads to make sometimes at dinner time, sometimes at lunch, but it often needs something else with it. It's kale and some grated apple, grated carrot, and grated raw beets. And then to dress that out, maybe just put on some lemon juice or some balsamic and maple syrup kind of concoction. And it's really good. Look at this wall. Yeah, I'll often make some sort of burger type thing from lentils or sweet potato. I made one recently that was eggplant, and that was eggplant and lentils, red lentils. I love curry kind of flavors. And making soups or curry and spicy. I bring like a jar that has a big jar that's soup at the bottom and then maybe some rice or grain, and then I fill the top with kale. And I stick a slice of lemon on top. And then when I get to school, I squeeze out the lemon on the kale and leave it on top and then microwave the whole jar. Not with the lid on, of course. And it kind of wilts the kale and gets all nice and hot, and that's a delicious lunch. With apple or pear or dried fruit freezer. Or depending on how much I've been training, Cliff Bar. Those things are like desserts. They're so yummy. So yeah, if you're interested in upping your fruit and complex carb intake, which you should be because it gives you so much energy because our bodies run on carbs, be aware of actually cutting down on fats so that your body can metabolize quicker, because that's what you do when you eat a lot of carbs. You speed up your metabolism. So now if I do have something that's very heavy and high in fats, like a lot of things, something that's like made in oil, or there's something else, like a lot of nuts, something that's really rich, nutty, and then I do feel so lethargic, and so it's tasty, it's rich, but it's too much for me. So I do eat nuts, but just not very many. And I mean, beyond all of this, I am certainly getting enough protein. I track to make sure that I am on an app that I have. And you'd be surprised, like just oats, even oats have so many, has enough protein. And rice and lentils and beans whenever I have them, and legumes. And leafy greens, if you eat a lot of lettuce, or different kinds of lettuce, spinach, kale, you will get enough protein. Isn't that cool? That's enough. You don't need animal products and you don't need supplements. Which is something they don't really always tell you. The only supplement, I should be taking, I haven't been, which is bad, is B12. I have it and I've taken it once in a while, but I need to start taking that more often. And then also now, because it's really short daylight hours, I should be taking more vitamin D, but everyone should be taking that. Where I live, at least. Okay, the yarn is officially a big mess. And this is going to happen. Big tangle. Disaster. Oh gosh. How do I do this? Oh, something else that's important is to drink a lot of water. Right now I'm a little parched. You can hear it in my throat. I already had a whole water bottle, like this thing actually. I fill it up and leave it beside my bed overnight. And then when I wake up, the first thing I do is sit in bed and drink that water bottle. I mean, I could also get out of bed, but that was just recently because I've been on vacation mode. This video really long already? It's getting there. I saw so many things to tell you. Yeah, so that's, I don't want to be too preachy about diet and lifestyle, but if you're eating junk, fast food, things that are really salty, things that are really covered in oil, you won't feel good. It just makes sense. Or things that are highly processed. It's not real food. It's so easy to go to the grocery store and just buy some fruit. Like if you need a snack, you're really hungry, you're like, ugh, I'm on the run, I didn't have time to pack something, I'm so hungry. I'll go to the grocery store and buy a thing of strawberries and eat those. People might look at you weird, but why do people do that? Like, they judge when you're eating something healthy. Well, that's weird. But then if you were to eat like some French fries from McDonald's, no one would even bat an eye, and that's weird. Because French fries are gross. So bad for you. They're just salt and oil, that's all they are. You make your own French fries when you're at home. Those are good. I do that. Potatoes, mostly steamed and then baked off a little tiny bit at the end. Sweet potato fries at home. Just go easy on the onions and the salt. And you're making something so good for yourself. For your friends and family too. I need some water real soon. I'd like to go for a run outside today before it does freezing rain all over the place. It's supposed to do that. Blah. Almost there. I'm almost done this whole thing, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me while I do this. You know, I think it's so cool how I've had this channel on YouTube, and I've just, I've never really gone all out like some of the other awesome people on YouTube. But then there's some of you that just always comment and always offer such wonderful words of support, and I think that's so fantastic. And thank you. I think you know who you are. You're always there, and I like it. I love to see your comments and your feedback and your thoughts on different things. I love that you take an interest in the boring stuff I do. You guys are super dedicated to me and I'm always around. Well, I'm around, but just, not always active. Yeah, I have stuff. So, this is an aside, I just thought of something. I'm doing knots, is something I used to do a lot of, because, well, crafts, of course, but then I taught sailing for a while, and as an instructor, we always had to deal with, well, as a student too, knots and lines and untangling. And the sailing lines don't often get as tangled as yarn. yarn just has a way of totally getting crazy. Okay, what's going on here? The trick to untangling, you see what I'm doing, I guess, is to be very, very gentle, not to tug too hard ever. Always sort of sneak things through here and there. You don't want to create any tight cotton knots, because then you're in trouble. Capital T. And that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. Did you get that Music Man reference I just made? Oh, you got trouble. I still can't really see what I'm doing from way over. Trying to get the best light so that I can see what's going on. You know, I feel like this is probably going to take a really long time for me to get through once I get to the end. Yeah, I'm trying to try it from the other direction. There's an idea. Usually they just shake out. I know the other reason why my throat is a little dry is I was singing all last night with friends Christmas carols. It was so much fun. Just to have a whole bunch of people hang out and sing. It was really a fun time. I had fun. So much fun. I haven't actually just sang and I felt like ages. I think we're getting there, guys. I think we're getting there. Come on, up to little knots. Come on, come on, come on. Do, do, do. Trying to keep the knot loose. So, wonky. Just going to spread it all out and see what happens. Parts I can take out. Maybe not. Let's pull in. What is this knot? That was good. This is certainly a way to spend a morning. So there are just all these loops that are kind of caught within one another. You have to keep it loose so that you can find those loops and not keep the other ones. That's quite a lot. Oh, my computer is so tired. Oh, what have you done to me? Oh man, here we go. That was a really good one. So satisfying. This feels good. Things were really coming undone there for a sec. Patience. It's really important to have patience. I hope that you have patience with me right now. See it now, it's all those different loops that I just looped right into one another. I'm almost there. Oh my gosh. This is so exciting for someone as dull as me. Ooh, making progress. Oh my gosh. This is so satisfying. It's happening, guys. Yes. Look at that. I don't know what's going on here, but it looks bad. It's not. I hope that you're asleep. That would be good. You'll be asleep now. Ha! This is it. That's all that remains of the knot now. And this is easy. It's just a little one. Yeah. I think that undoing knots is a really good analogy for problems in life, that if you just try and pull on it to release it with like a quick fix, it will just make it tighter. And harder to undo later. If you just take time to be very gentle and patient, these things will undo themselves and you don't have to tuck any ends in. It's all the same string. Wise words. And that's it. You see? It's just a little twisted. It might look like a knot sometimes. It might not even be a knot when you pull on it, and you're going to make it into one. And there you go. I wish you were all okay tonight. See you later.